What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
I am Iron Man.
You are a toy!
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Server Anakin! I have the high ground!
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm simply saying that life, finds a way.
Welcome back to the Big Movie Boys podcast, the only podcast where everyone with a southern accent is actually British. I'm your host, Jeremy Bauman, and with me as always is Bob, Knock'em Stiff Liebel.
Delusions!
And Ben, Coal Creek Stitch.
What's good, boys? Bob, was that loud enough?
No, I could do it louder. Want me to do it again?
We've got a bunch to talk about this week, including new video game consoles on the horizon, recommendations on what you should watch, and a review on The Devil All the Time. But first, there have been several trailers that have dropped recently, so I think we should check them out and see what we have to look forward to. And obviously, the one that has the most potential is Hubie Halloween.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This movie, Adam Sandler made a joke that after Uncut Gems, if he wasn't nominated, he would make the worst movie of all time. He went the opposite way and made the greatest movie of all time. That's what this movie looks like to me.
But I almost but isn't that great though? Like, think about it. This movie is going to do so well on Netflix because of what you just said.
Yeah.
So many people know that he literally said, if I don't get nominated, I'm going to make the worst movie of all time. Who is not going to watch Adam Sandler, the king of shitty movies, proclaiming that this is his shittiest movie? How could you not watch it?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it because of that. He looks like Simple
I'm
Jack
so
in this
excited.
movie. Yeah.
It looks so bad that I don't want to watch it. It doesn't even look enjoyably bad. It looks just like a painful experience.
I think, and I'm gonna put it on the line right now. The first ever live watching Big Movie Boys podcast. We're gonna get wasted and watch this movie, and I'm gonna love it.
That might be the only scenario you catch me watching this movie in. It looks rough. I don't know how else to put it.
He's doing like a weird accent in the promo. I don't know. It looks.
I wouldn't call it an accent.
That's a good point there.
It's pretty rough, and yeah, it seems like he's true to his word. It looks like he really sought out to make the worst movie of all time because this looks really bad. It's got a lot of his tropes turned up to like 11, though. I mean, Adam Sandler.
It's like the whole SNL cast plus Kevin James in it.
No, Kevin James looks like he'll be pretty shitty. Who else? Maya Rudolph's in it. All of them.
The kid from Stranger Things.
Yep. Poor guy.
I can't believe it. When did this promo come out?
Like a week ago.
Yeah, sometime this last week.
God.
Gonna be good.
It'll be on Netflix. It'll be free at my disposal, and I still don't think I'll... Even in a year where we're so just clamoring at the bit for new movies, I don't think this will do it.
I'm calling it now. It's gonna do really well. I really think I'm gonna watch it the day it comes out just because.
You think you'll watch it the day it comes out?
I have to see how bad it is. Like I'm so excited for it.
Guarantee you don't watch it the day it comes out.
Guarantee. I stay up. When's it come out?
October 7th.
What's that? A Wednesday?
I think that is a Wednesday. Very good.
Yeah. I already knew.
I will say what I'm looking forward to though. Season 2 of The Mandalorian coming to Disney Plus on October 30th. They had a little, I don't know if you'd consider it a full trailer or just a teaser. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is about Star Wars. I shouldn't like Star Wars. I think there's more Star Wars that I don't like than I do like, and yet I watch this trailer and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm pumped for this.
Yeah, as someone who has only watched like the first 3 movies and I'm like trying to space it out before I watch them all because I know I like the first 3 movies, so I'm like excited to watch everything else.
You ready to be let down?
Yeah, exactly. But from what I hear, The Mandalorian is good. Do I need to watch the other movies to watch this? Like, is it...
Actually, if you're watching in the continuity, The Mandalorian takes place between episodes 6 and 7.
I would say you probably don't. I mean, this is something I watched the first couple episodes of it, maybe 4 or 5, and I stopped. I didn't like it.
The Mandalorian?
Didn't like it. Yeah, I could come back to it. I think.
Maybe it's like a Breaking Bad thing. The first couple episodes are slow and then it builds.
I don't think it's a Breaking Bad thing.
I don't know what it was. I think because I was watching it when it was on and they were doing the weekly release, and I think that was my issue is I couldn't wait. And it wasn't bad. Like I enjoyed it, but like I just never finished it. I think it just so happened that when this episode was coming out, I just didn't watch it, and then I just never got back to it.
Yeah.
And so it didn't draw me in enough that I had to see it. And when this season comes out, and maybe when it's all done, and I can watch season 1 and 2 straight through. And
I'm surprised they don't just put them all out like Netflix.
If they did, I think I would watch this. But that's honest to God probably the thing that kept me away from it. But
they've been out for about a year now, though. So.
Well, I could finish it now, but I think at this point I'm just going to wait for season 2 to be done. And I can watch them back to back. It wasn't bad, But in the end, like I saw the trailer and somebody that I know what's going on because obviously I watched some of the episodes. It looks good. I mean, it looks interesting. I'm not saying I won't watch this, but it's not a priority of mine.
It's no Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween takes it goes Hubie Halloween, distant, lots of things below Hubie Halloween. Hubie Halloween #1.
I enjoyed the first season of Mandalorian. It definitely had its lows. It wasn't like perfect by any means. It was enjoyable though. I mean, anything in Star Wars, I think baseline is going to be enjoyable. You have to really kind of mess with it before it sucks, which they have successfully done several times before.
I'm big enough of a fan that if it's in the Star Wars universe, I'm usually going to check it out.
Ben, I'll sell you on the first season. Bill Burr's in it.
Really?
When?
In, I don't know, episode 6
Episode
or
5.
7.
That
As
might
soon
have
as
been
you stopped watching.
Right, I was going to say, that must have been right when I
What is
stopped.
it, like his face is in it, or just like
He plays a character
wow?
who has like he carries 2 guns, and he also has like a third gun that comes out of his backpack.
What a that guy's
Spoiler.
a lot of stuff.
I know,
I think
big spoiler.
I think I'm interested to finishing the 6 movies I have left and then starting the first season now.
You have 8 movies left.
There's 8 movies.
Solo.
There's 9.
There's 11 movies, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, Solo and Rogue One.
Only half of them are
I
good.
just
too.
assumed those were part of the last trilogy.
Rogue One's good. Solo's kind of shitty, but I enjoy it. And
Holy fuck, dude.
yeah, you're in for a lot.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
What about our next trailer for the next movie coming out sequentially, Freaky, which is coming to theaters on November 13th. What do we think about Vince Vaughn swapping bodies with
Why
her
would
name?
they
I already forget.
I don't know it either. Why would they put this movie out after Halloween? Like, I get you want people to go to theaters. This is supposed to be a scary movie. Why would you put this out after Halloween? That seems stupid as hell.
It doesn't make sense to me. For whatever reason, I kind of want to see this. I don't really know why.
Yeah, it doesn't look like... It's kind of like a funny... like trope to like the Freaky Friday situation where they switch bodies and Vince Vaughn is a serial killer who then switches with like this high school teenager. Like that idea like alone is kind of funny, and maybe if this movie was like coming straight to Hulu or like Netflix, I would probably check it out.
I
Like,
thought it was when we
so did
talked
I. When
about
Jeremy
it.
just said like
Yeah.
that it's coming to theaters after Halloween, I think that's fucking stupid, but
And I can answer that question for you. Friday the 13th of November. That's why it's coming out after.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
still stupid to me.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
my
still
thing.
stupid.
Here's my thing though: is when you see Vince Vaughn in the beginning of the trailer as a murderer, why don't we just make a serious movie with him as playing like a serious serial killer?
I think they did that.
I would
already.
much rather see that because this is jokey.
That's
you know?
what Wedding
This
Crashers
gimmicky.
is about.
But I totally want to see, and I don't know if it's like the uncut gems rubbing off on me, but I would love to see more
A series.
comedic actors like that are past their prime. Like honest to God, Vince Vaughn's not coming out with comedy bangers anymore. He's in shit like that.
The Binge.
Yeah, well,
I get you.
but same with Adam Sandler. He's not really coming out. I'm not the new Adam Sandler movie. Hubie Halloween will probably have me in stitches, but but like you know what I mean. Like I would like to see these comedic actors in more serious roles. And in the beginning of this trailer, where you see those few glimpses of Vince Vaughn as a serial killer, I'm like, I would much rather.
I
see
knew
that.
it was a joke movie at that point.
You're not excited by watching Vince Vaughn play a 17-year-old high school girl?
That's like I said though, I'm like oddly excited. Like I think this movie will be kind of entertaining. I think it'll be because this is the same studio and the same people that wrote that Happy Death Day, right? At
It
least
looks
that's-
exactly like that
Blumhouse,
movie.
yeah.
From the I think in the trailer it's mentioned something about
Yeah.
that. And that movie was also surprisingly not bad. Like it's not good, but it's also like
I can't wait till we do the
good enough
best
time.
movies of the 2020s, and for you it's going to be between Hubie Halloween and this fucking movie.
2020 is a real big year for me. You might have to Lord of the Rings rule it.
Yeah, this one seems like, in the way that Hubie Halloween looks stupid and bad, this one looks like it might be stupid and fun. Like, it might be like an enjoyable 90-minute experience. I'm not going to go to a theater for it, even if it wasn't, part of the apocalypse these days. But
But that's how Happy Death Day was. I saw that movie and it was like
Where'd you watch that?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was like I wasn't excited for it. I just happened to go see it, and at the end I was like, that wasn't that bad. It was kind of enjoyable, and I feel like this will be. Like I said, I think it's maybe not the same.
But that was
writers,
an
but
actual scary movie, right?
It's like the exact same thing where it's like kind of.
it's like
It has its moments.
that was like
Oh,
Groundhog
gotcha.
Day, but a scary movie. This
Yeah.
is like Freaky Friday, but a
yeah,
scary
it like
movie.
has its moments. Like it's definitely funny, but there's moments where it would probably scare some people, but it's not scary.
Yeah.
It seems to be part of the Blumhouse formula. Not only do they just make all these low-budget horror movies, but they're like, what's a trope from a original movie, and then we twist that into
Yeah.
a
And that's
a
why I think this
modern
will work. I think it'll
horror
work.
movie.
I don't think it'll be that
I just
bad.
think it's dumb that it's going out in theaters
Yeah,
after Halloween when it's
Yeah.
a scary movie.
that's fair.
Well, now they know to consult you next time. They're
Yes.
looking
I
to
would be
schedule
great
the
at
release
coming out with
date.
dates for movies.
All right, our final trailer, easily the biggest one in scale, is the Dune trailer, which took at least my Twitter feed by storm a few days ago when it actually dropped.
Me too.
This one also comes out to theaters in December 18th.
This
Maybe-
might actually make it.
I was about to say, might have a chance.
Still don't know that as much as I want to see this movie that I would necessarily truck. I mean, we got 3 months to wait and see how that all pans out. But do you have any familiarity with Dune, either the book or the movie that came out in like 84 or whatever?
I didn't know it was based off a book. I've heard of the movie, and I don't know. It looks good. This trailer looks good. I know it's interesting. Is the original in '84? That's considered a good movie, right?
I don't
Pretty-
think so. Well,
Really?
Maybe. I don't think people who read Dune think it's a good movie, but maybe on its own merit as a movie, maybe. I've never seen it personally, but
I thought I heard that was good. So when I saw that they were remaking it, I thought maybe it would be. I don't know. I kind of got like the Mad Max Fury Road vibe, where it's like they go back to an older property and they do it, and it's really good and like a modern, like studio redoing it. And I think that this will be similar. I think this is gonna. I don't know. The trailer gets me excited. I think this is gonna be good. I'm pretty in on this movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you guys on this one. The trailer itself looks really cool and really spectacular, but what I see in it, it just doesn't. It looks like one of those movies that there's so much behind it, and I think it's gonna flop. Not only because people aren't gonna go to theaters even in December when the fucking flu hits COVID, but just itself, this movie. Maybe I'll be wrong, and I'll be watching this movie 2 months after you guys and be like, oh shit, that was a good movie. But right now, the cast itself doesn't. That's the biggest part for me. The cast itself looks cool, but the movie itself does not get me excited.
I think there's enough people that like Dune and want a good Dune adaptation, which is why I think the trailer was popping off the way it was. The cast, obviously, is pretty incredible.
Pretty good, yeah.
And it's Denis Villeneuve, however you pronounce that. I think I'm getting pretty close there, who is basically setting himself as one of the greatest sci-fi directors ever. He did the Blade Runner 2049 sequel from 2 years ago, and he did Arrival, which is one of my all-time favorites. So
Top 5?
easy top 5, yeah, no question.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you.
But
I didn't know that he directed those two movies, and that actually gets me even more excited because I don't know. I just feel like this is gonna be good, dude. I don't know. Something about this movie just does it for me. I'm excited for it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about Dune. I was thinking maybe I'll try to read this book before December. You
So
know,
you can hate the movie.
it's like a 900-page book.
Oh,
so-
really? It's
Yeah.
not it's not split up between books.
I don't. Maybe originally it was. Whatever the Dune book is that people refer to as 950 pages, and apparently this movie is going to be part 1 of 2, supposedly.
Fuck.
So it's only going to cover half.
Jesus
the book.
Christ!
And it
So
already.
you only
looks,
have to read the first 500 pages.
Well, that's a good point.
You know what gets me nervous about that though is what if this really does flop? Because if COVID, honestly, the way you were describing the trailer, Ben, it makes me think that other people might feel the same way. This trailer might not be for everybody, and this sci-fi type of movie might not be for everybody. And I don't what if it fucking bombs?
What happens to that second movie?
That's what I'm saying. In a pre-COVID era, I think this movie would get a sequel, but it's not going to make any fucking money if people can't go see it. How do you make a sequel if a movie makes no money? And you look at something like Tenet that probably
You just hope it does good. After it goes HBO or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Though, but Tenet probably is going to underperform, but they weren't making a sequel to Tenet. You know?
Yeah.
It's a one-off. If it's something that's planned to have a sequel and it makes no money, and it might not be making no money because the movie sucked, because that happens all the time. I don't know. The first thing I think
Yeah,
is
but
remember
they
those
might
Spider-Man
even-
movies, like the Andrew Garfield ones.
But they
like,
might even blame it on COVID then and just roll it out and just be like,
I
people
don't
are
know.
going to watch
I don't know
this.
how they're going to get the money from that though.
I think
Yeah.
you might be
Studio's
in
not
a,
going to back you up.
might be in a similar situation as Tenet, though, where Nolan can make whatever movie he wants because he's Nolan. I think if this movie comes out and it does well enough, and Denis Villeneuve is I'm gonna make the second one, he's gonna find someone to pay to make the second one.
Yeah.
That's just a prediction, but who knows? We live in strange times with very unpredictable returns on box offices these days. So, All right, that's all the trailers. I think we got some stuff we're looking forward to in the next couple of months here, streaming and theatrically. Let's look forward towards the end of the year, but in a different genre. Everyone's favorite podcast within a podcast, the Big Game Boys, coming back at you.
We're big gamer boys.
Huge.
And we've finally got dates and prices for the next-gen consoles that are coming out, which include the Xbox Series S and Series X, as well as the PS5, both the digital and standard editions.
Yeah, Jared, explain the difference between the S and the X for me.
I have no idea. Those are just gibberish.
All right, well, first of all, Xbox's naming conventions are nonsense. But
So fucking stupid.
Yeah.
the next-gen consoles that are coming out from Microsoft under the Xbox line are the Xbox Series S. This is the toned-down version of the next-gen console. This one's going to be $299. And then you got the
I can afford
Xbox
that.
Series X at $499. This is the
Oh.
big push next-gen. The difference being that the X can basically do 4K. I think it can do 120 frames per second, whereas the S, I believe, is still capped at 1080, 60 frames per second.
Yeah, give me the S. $200 cheaper.
But is the S basically just? It's not that much better than what
The
you
X, you
previously-
mean?
The S.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it isn't that what the 1080p isn't that what you have on the old Xbox, the
Right.
current
So
gen?
what makes it even more confusing is that the Xbox One X or S, I don't even know which one is out now, the half step up from the Xbox One,
Yeah.
that one already does 4K. So the Series S is actually a step down, but the Series X is a step up.
So why the fuck would you do that then? Just to be able to play like the new games?
Basically, Xbox is lagging so far behind because everyone on the planet has a PS4 that they
Besides
needed
me.
a lower price entry point.
So they went for a tier like that.
basically.
That makes
But it's only
sense.
And it
$100
also-
less than the PS5 digital version, which is what, like,
And you also got to think most people don't have a 4K TV. So
I do.
Most
so
people.
I don't.
you're rich though, Bob.
I don't shop at those stores. Peasants. I don't know who they are.
Most people aren't even getting full 4K out of a 4K console because they don't have a 4K TV. On the other hand, PS5, who, they said, oh, we had the PS4, let's call the next one the PS5 because we're not morons.
Yeah, that makes ipso facto.
They've got the digital edition, which is the full console with no CD drive or no disc drive.
Yeah.
It's not a CD.
Basically, you just can't watch movies in that one.
And the standard, which has the disc drive for $100 more.
Who's doing that?
It doubles as a Blu-ray
Jeremy.
player.
Oh.
No,
How much is it for the digital?
digital $399, standard $499.
What will the PS4 drop to? That might be. I'm not a gamer. For any of the big movie boys listening at home, I'm not a gamer. All my friends have known. I've been talking about this for a while. I'm trying to get into video games. I definitely want to get a console of some sort.
Bob's best video game is UFC.
Yeah, that's really what I want to play for the most part, and maybe like Tony Hawk and a few other things. But like, I want to get a console. But here's my question to you that knows the most about this, Jeremy. Am I better off waiting for these to come out and just buying a PS4? Or should I buy one of these new ones? Because I think I'm going to go PlayStation. I'm
Dude,
not
you
an
got to go
Xbox guy.
PS5 digital. You're not going to put movies
You
in there.
think?
The PS5.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So should I just get a PS4?
No, because then you're
'Cause
not.
I-
If you want to play games with like your other friends, then you.
I don't want to.
Okay, then
I'm not
Yeah,
good.
go PS2 then.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the PS5. $399, obviously $400, not burning a hole in my pocket. It's an appreciable amount of money, but it's a pretty fair price, I think, for what you're getting out of the box.
do you think
here.
that's the standard price? You think it's going to go Black Friday sale at all?
No, because they're coming out in November. They're coming out basically right before Black Friday. You're not going to see any sales this year. For me, I don't know. I'm probably not going to get a PS5. I'm definitely not pre-ordering one because that was a shit show if you follow anyone trying to pre-order one over the last day or two. I'm a PlayStation guy these days. I don't play a ton, but PlayStation is what I'm playing, mostly for games like Spider-Man and the new Miles Morales game, which I showed you guys the gameplay demo for, which looks sick.
Very in on those as well. That's part of the reason I'm trying to get in on the console.
But honestly, I think you're better off the $399 digital. I don't own a single physical game.
Yeah.
Like I'm super into digital games since you have to basically download and install every game anyway, even if
Yeah.
you have the disc. And I think that $399 price is super reasonable.
I know. I almost want to wait like 6 months after and hope it goes to like. It wouldn't drop to 300, but I just feel like I want to wait till it's 300.
Even if it was 350.
Yeah, but I've
About
been
250.
Xbox since Xbox 360, but I just feel like most of my friends have the PlayStation, so I feel like I'm gonna have to switch back over eventually.
Bob, if you're looking for a deal, your best bet is probably waiting a little while and seeing what bundles come out, so you can get a couple games on top of that.
That's fair.
And
That's probably what I'll
there might
do.
be a Miles Morales bundle. Who knows? With the Spider-Man PS4 on the PS5.
Fuck me.
So
Yeah. Can you play PS4 games on the PS5?
anything you have purchased in your PlayStation library, you can download.
Now
and
I have
install
nothing in my PlayStation
on
library.
PlayStation. I do, so I'm looking forward to that.
Fuck.
But yeah, you can get backwards compatible. I think they said 99% backwards compatible. So I don't know what that 1% is, but
Probably every game I want to play.
yeah, I don't know. You guys, Ben, you probably played the most besides me. I mean, I don't think either of us played a ton,
But I
we
play
play
like
enough.
sport video games. Like I'll play like NBA, NHL, FIFA, and Madden. I'm not like the Spider-Man game you showed us right before this. Like looks fucking sweet. Like I'd be more interested in that. Like I'm not a Tony Hawk guy, but like something like that Spider-Man game gets me like fucking amped to like try to get that. It just sucks because the $60 price point, and I think that's almost going up. Like that hurts me more than this fucking $399. Like $400. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but like then you have it for like 4 years until they come
Yeah,
up
but
with the
games
news.
are expensive.
Exactly, and then games like Spider-Man will last like 2 years, but then if you get like Madden for $60, it's like that lasts you like 8 months, and then it's
If
like
that.
fuck. Exactly, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I don't buy a ton of games because with the PlayStation's online service, you get like 1 or 2 free games a month. So I own like 35 games on the PlayStation. I've bought like 6 of them.
See, that's what makes me want to switch over to PlayStation 2. Maybe Xbox does something like that, and I'm just too stupid to realize it. But that paired with all my friends having PS4s, like I feel like I'll switch over. I feel like we're doing the South Park episode where like
The console wars.
yeah, exactly. That's what I feel
All-time
like is
great.
coming up again. I hope they do a second one of that.
They absolutely will.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Big Gamer Boys podcast. We'll be back again next week, I'm sure, since that's what we talk about here. But let's dial it back. Let's get back into the movies. Let's just do a little check-in. What have we been watching outside of the podcast? Anything come across our plates that we want to recommend to all the Big Movie Boys listeners at home?
You know what? I'll put my hand up on this one. It was Ben's best movie of the 2010s.
That's not true. Of one of
He
those years,
pushed hard for this movie. It is his favorite movie. I saw Bridesmaids, and honest to Christ, I watched the first 30 minutes of it, and I was like, "This movie." I was just looking for something to rip to shreds. I was talking mad shit. I go, "This sucks. This sucks," and I was 45 minutes in, and I go, "You know what? Okay, it's not that bad." And then I was an hour in, and I go, "You know what? It's pretty funny." And then I was an hour and a half in, I go, "This is a good fucking movie." Like it was. I really liked it. Like I finished Bridesmaids, and I, honest to God, thought I was gonna hate it. In the beginning, I tried to hate it. By the end, I loved it. I've been watching Bridesmaids. It's a good movie.
Can't wait to redo the 2010s, and that beats out The Dark Knight.
It might.
Wait, no, what Wolf of Wall Street.
I mean, you pushed very, very hard for it. I mean, we had to cut a lot of it out. He was physical. He was screaming. And I was like, I've never seen that movie, Ben. But now that I have, you know what? I would push harder for it. It was good. It was good. That's
Jerry, you
the
have
most
to-
recent movie I've watched.
You have to watch that now.
So
was that
the same year that Wolf of Wall Street came out?
It fucking might have
It
been.
might have
It
been.
kind of sounds like the year.
Because if it was, and we outvote Wolf of Wall Street, then the whole decade is in shambles.
This is an asterisk on the best movie of the 2010s.
We might have to revisit that one.
For me, I've just been watching. So I watched Dexter a lot. That show fucking sucks. I think I hate watch that the way Jeremy hate watches Criminal Minds. And then I've also been watching.
No, I turned around. I love Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
I just started The Americans, which was an FX show that's now on Amazon Prime. My brother tried to get me to watch it back when it came out in 2013. Maybe I was just too like I was like 16 then when it came out, so I couldn't get into it enough. But I really like that show. Now I'm about a season done. It's really fucking good television. It's about a Cold War Russian spies living in America, and you kind of follow their family while also like seeing like the FBI kind of trying to figure out who they are, basically.
Sounds pretty sweet. I've watched a few different movies and shows in the last couple of weeks, starting with Clerks, my first Kevin Smith joint.
I've seen Clerks 2, and I love it. I've never seen the original. I've never seen the first Clerks. I've actually seen
Interesting.
Clerks 2 like 3 times.
Never wanted to go back and see where it all began.
No.
Why bother? He already knows how it finishes.
Well, maybe we can have a conversation later, because I have no idea where this franchise is going.
It's good.
I ended up watching Jojo Rabbit. It's been on HBO Max for a little while now.
It's on Amazon Prime too, and I've wanted to see it for.
So was ScarJo better in that or in Marriage Story? Sorry. Thank you.
I got to give it to her in Marriage Story.
Damn.
I mean, one of the greatest performances ever. Was that really that big of a
I
shock?
don't know, but
What was
Jojo Rabbit,
she-
they were
was
both nominated
she-
for Oscar.
But she was supporting actress in JoJo, right?
Right.
And she was nominated for the. Wait, was
Best
she
actress.
nominated in both?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! Has that ever happened?
Dude, I don't fucking know. Probably.
I mean, we're a shitty podcast. If we were a good one, we would know stuff like this. But
I'm sure Meryl Streep was at some point.
that sounds incredible, though. Think about it. In the same year, you're nominated for Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress. That's pretty insane. I'm gonna say it's never happened. Meryl Streep can suck it.
I ended up watching the Social Dilemma, which is that documentary that's
Like a
been
shitty ripoff of The Social Network.
kind of, honestly. It's a
It's
documentary
basically just
about.
saying we're all on our phones too much.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm conflicted
off.
about this one because on one hand, it's really interesting because I interview a lot of people who held high-ranking positions at Facebook, at Google, at Twitter, people who like invented the like button. And,
Basically, how to get you like hooked on these apps.
invent these like deep learning algorithms to like keep you hooked onto all these apps and stuff. So like that part is super cool, but they dedicate it like a third of the runtime to this like scripted fictional family who's like dealing with the kids who are too addicted
Oh, I don't
to
like
their
that.
phones, and one of them ends up joining like an alt-right rally and gets arrested, and it's like, why do you have to do
So
all
if
this
it was
bullshit?
just like the informational side of like teaching you how they like have.
The interviews and like the way they explain how like the processes behind these social networks actually work, super interesting, super informative. I think it's explained in a way that's approachable, to a broad audience.
Yeah, I don't like the part of it like showing the fucking like scripted shit, but
Yeah.
I would watch just the people talking about. Like, I think I watched the preview and got what I needed from it.
That could be the case. I didn't watch the preview beforehand, so maybe that is true. But yeah, if you can find like someone on YouTube who cut just the interviews and that stuff out of it, that would be the way to watch it. And then the final thing I'll recommend is season 2 of The Boys. As of recording, 5 episodes are out. I've seen 4 of them.
Never seen
So good. I don't know why you guys haven't watched.
You
the first
recommended
season
this
yet.
one of the last times we did this, and I was like, definitely gonna watch this. Definitely haven't watched it, but
I don't plan on it.
fuck, it
I don't
looked
think
good,
I'm gonna.
but I feel like I never will.
It looked good, but I don't think I'm gonna see
It's
it.
like one of those shows that there's just too much shit, dude. I'm
There's
not
too
gonna
much
get
shit
to
in
it.
it. Yeah, exactly. There's
The
too much
same way
shit.
you guys aren't gonna watch The Americans after I just explained how good that show was.
A 7-year-old show.
Stuff gets buried, and The Boys is probably a good show, and I'd probably love it, but it's just getting
Yeah,
buried. There's
I'm
too
just
much
glad
going
you
on.
made it around to Bridesmaids, dude. I was worried.
Yeah, I do have one more though, actually, that I didn't mention. It's not in the TV or movie, but I've been listening to a podcast, Harry Potter.
You're gonna
at Home.
recommend another podcast?
I'm telling you, dude, Harry Potter at Home. All it is, they're reading the. I'm assuming
This is a
they're gonna-
crossover advertisement, folks. They're advertising our podcast.
They're doing so. They basically it's an audio book of they're reading each chapter of Harry Potter, but each chapter is a different British celebrity. So the first chapter, it's basically the King of England, Daniel Radcliffe, and then you got David Beckham. Like it's just like random.
Where does
like,
friend of the show Robert Pattinson come into play?
I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to do one at some point because they have a lot of people from some of the
Have they
other
gotten
movies.
to Harry Potter 4 yet?
No, they're still on. I'm still. It's very recent. It started during COVID. They do one chapter a week, so I mean, it takes a while.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, they're not even done with.
You could have read the entire series by now, Bob.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how to read, nor do I want to. But no, I guarantee Robert Pattinson at some point will be on because they have a lot of people from the other movies that do it. Like if you've been in the movies at all, like you will have a guest spot, and they split it up, and like they did an entire episode where they did the Harry Potter Broadway like cast did their parts in the book, so it's like each character is reading their own lines. Very interesting. It's just interesting to like, I don't know, go back and watch. Like everyone's seen the Harry Potter movies, everyone's read the books, but I haven't read the books in years. I've seen the Harry Potter movies.
I haven't read the books.
I read up until chapter or the 7th book.
Up until chapter.
whatever. Anyway, it's worth checking out. You know, if you're a Harry Potter fan or you're just sitting bored at work and need something to listen to, this is pretty good for it. So I enjoyed enough that I had to recommend it.
That's fair.
Interesting enough. All right, let's get into a movie that we had been anticipating for a while.
Showtime.
I'm as excited to talk about it as I was to watch it. Of course, I am talking about The Devil All the Time. If you live under a goddamn rock and didn't know that this movie came out this past Wednesday on Netflix, it is written by Antonio and Paulo Campos, based on the novel by Donald Ray Pollock. And it is also directed by Antonio Campos, who I thought the name sounded familiar, and the way I'd heard this movie being talked about, people are like, oh, it's directed by Antonio Campos. I'm like, I gotta know this guy from something. He directed a bunch of shorts and one episode of The Punisher on Netflix.
Wow, this is basically his debut. That's fucking crazy.
And his brother, Paulo Campos, the co-writer, has one credit on IMDb for writing this movie.
Wow.
Dude,
Well,
that's
Punisher's a really good show. So, I mean, in one episode, though? I mean, wow.
One episode, and then they're just like, you know what? Let's write the fucking best movie of 2020.
This, obviously, the big title-grabbing headlines were for the cast of this movie. It stars Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Haley Bennett, Sebastian Stan, Riley Keough, Harry Melling, Jason Clarke, and, of course, friend of the show, Robert Pattinson himself.
Delusions!
We asked Bobby to be on the show this week, but he couldn't be on.
Damn.
We are definitely going to keep it spoiler-free at first since this movie just came out. We will very explicitly let you know when we are going into spoilers. But remaining spoiler-free, let's just very broad opinions. Did we like it?
Yeah, I'll go first. This movie was fucking sweet. I think my only downfall of this movie was I wanted more of Tom Holland and more of Robert Pattinson. But then on the other side of that, you get more Bill Skarsgård, and I'm not really familiar with him, but he was sweet in this movie. He's scary. He's charming. He's got all things going for him, and I just thought the way they used secondary characters in this movie made up for not using the big characters as much as I would have wanted them.
My whole thing with this movie is when I was done with it, my initial thought was there was a few things I wouldn't say I didn't like, but there was a few things that kept it from being perfect. You know what I mean? I really, really liked this movie, but there was a few things I could nitpick, and those aren't even actual nitpicks. Those are just a few things that keep it from being one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's the way I would say. If there's a few things that I'd not even say I would fix about it because I couldn't imagine them doing it any other way. There's just a few things holding me back from calling this an all-time great. But with that being said, a few things you can nitpick. I really, really, really liked this movie. A lot. I really enjoyed the shit out of it.
I'll echo what you guys said. I super enjoyed this movie myself. I was surprised to see either mixed or kind of lackluster reviews overall.
I saw that as well.
Oh, really? I did not see that.
Metacritic had a 53. I didn't check Rotten Tomatoes, but
it was around 70, high 70s.
It could be because it's a tough movie to watch.
And it's not necessarily an enjoyable film to watch.
I feel bad for any Spider-Man and Winter Soldier kids that were just yeah, let's go watch them in the movie. But oh God, you have got another thing coming.
And that's just based on the plot and the story itself. Yeah. But execution and just the presentation of the story, I thought was pretty incredible almost all the way through.
The actual story, if you were to say the synopsis out loud and everything that happens in it, which I'm not going to do because we're not in the spoiler section yet. I don't know how the fuck somebody came up with this. As I'm watching the movie,
as you're watching the movie,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. And exactly. But when you're watching it, I'm just holy shit! This is. I'm just it almost it was just so fucking good. I can't even put it into words right now.
I definitely agree. It feels and I haven't read the book that this is based off of, but it feels like you're imagining the pictures in your head as someone is reading a book to you. It didn't even feel like it was a traditional 3-act structure as much as it was chapters in a book. And I think part of that is also due to the narration, which typically isn't something I love in a movie, but I really like it.
I appreciated it in this movie.
This was one of the things that when I first started watching it, I don't like the narration. But it turned around on me because they almost did it in a different way. It was, I don't know, like you said, it feels like a book. I feel like movies that are based off of books try to use that narrator to, I don't know, it's based off a book. Exactly. They're trying to make it seem like the book. In this case, it actually worked the way I feel like other movies want it to. It actually worked the way it was supposed to in this. And the narrator for me, that's Sam Elliott, right?
No, you're absolutely wrong, even though it sounds exactly like him. I like that it is the author of the book that does it. He's got a great fucking voice.
That guy knew what he needed to do with his life, and it was, I hope, if he has Audible, like audiobooks, that he reads his own books for, I'm going to buy all of them.
Honest to Christ,
this dude
I was like, I didn't know Sam Elliott was in this movie. And then I kept looking it up. I go, why doesn't it say that he's the narrator? That's clearly Sam Elliott. And then when we showed up here today, you guys are like, no, it's the author. I need to know a lot more about him. They should make a movie about a biopic about his life, because if he's got a voice like that and he wrote a book like that, I need to know more about this dude.
For me, I didn't read the book either. It makes me want to go back, even though I've already seen the movie, but it also makes me think like
the book's better, maybe.
Yeah, the books. I would obviously like people. I'm one of those assholes that goes, "Oh, the book was better," but like this also feels like a movie that didn't ruin the book, because there could have been a way to do this movie where you did have too much Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, and people who read the book would be like, they weren't in the book that long.
Did do a little look up on the book. I didn't like spoil the plot or anything, but apparently the book is a lot more heavy. There's more
God,
there's
heavier
more
than this movie.
There's more. This isn't really a spoiler. There's more pedophilia. There's more gore. There's more killing. There's more there's a lot.
Is there
more?
Is there one happy moment in the book?
No, but basically what you saw on screen, it's like amplified up in the book. Yeah. So I mean, if you felt unsettled and you're a little queasy after finishing this movie, the book is going to give you night terrors.
I mean, the movie gave me trippy dreams on its own.
I couldn't sleep that night after I watched it.
That'll be my one warning. I did mention the Metascore. We did conduct a Big Movie Boys poll. You can follow us at Big Movie Boys on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I voted on that. I want to know what it came out to.
I gave 3 options. I simply said thoughts on Devil All the Time. 3 options were thumbs up, a undecided face, and a thumbs down. And it was an 83% thumbs up out of the
3,000 votes.
150,000 people voted.
Hang on, six votes.
Okay,
so that was 5 for good, and we must have been 3 of them.
That's 3 of them in the room right now.
And probably 4. Jeremy probably voted as Big Movie Boys.
No, you can't vote on your own polls, or I would have. So that is the definitive score, we can say, is a 5 out of 6 thumbs ups with 1 undecided face emoji. I don't know. Do you guys want to... Would you recommend it? I don't know how much more we want to stay spoiler-free before we get into just a full-blown discussion of it.
Gotta watch it. Yeah, I recommend it.
Like, definitely don't watch it if you're in a great mood. I'd watch it when you're, like, expecting to be disappointed almost. Like, this isn't a movie I want to rewatch, but it's like a movie when I rewatch it in 3 years, I'm going to be glad I did.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm like, I could watch it again.
I know I have to go back and watch it because there's stuff you miss along the way, but it's just such a hard watch. But I'm obviously not disappointed. It was a really fucking good movie, and I will rewatch it. It's just, maybe I'll even rewatch this around Halloween, because this is like a good fucking scary movie.
It is an unsettling movie for sure, and while I agree, of course, I mean, every movie could use more Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, even if it's just a movie of those two talking to each other for 4 hours straight. I would say the same thing. But I agree with what you said earlier, where it allows like some of the side characters to really shine through. I thought, to me at least, 2 of the bigger performances that at least I wasn't expecting were out of Bill Skarsgård and Riley Keough.
Who's that one again?
She is the girlfriend of the couple that we follow throughout.
Yeah, she had a good role too. I feel like a lot of the female roles were like really, I don't know, they had to play tough roles too. Like, no one had like a happy role in this fucking movie. Like, even the grandma had no fucking fun.
Yeah, that shitty food she made.
All right, we kept it relatively short on the spoiler-free section. We're going to move into spoilers. I would highly recommend, if you want to watch this movie, that you do watch it now, come back, listen to it after, because there's a lot to spoil, and I don't think you'll enjoy it as much with all that stuff spoiled. So, with all that being said,
have fun, enjoy it.
What is Robert Pattinson's accent?
So I actually did a little research. I was reading an article today on Twitter. It was from like Esquire or something. Apparently, he didn't let anybody hear his accent before the first day of filming.
I believe it.
He literally, he said, like, no, like, you gotta wait.
Dude, when you say delusions, you're not far
Delusions!
up. Dude, you're not far up. I guess I don't know what his real voice sounds like.
Whatever he utters in this movie is an accent that's never been heard before on this planet, and I loved every second of it.
Part of me is thinking it's like maybe like because he's from Tennessee or whatever, you know, and I'm thinking like maybe that's a traditional Tennessee accent. Maybe Rob did a little research, you know.
dive.
Maybe he really knows. Maybe he knows from somebody from Tennessee. But I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't think that's a Southern accent at all. Maybe like we don't know shit because we're from the Northeast, but that doesn't sound like a Tennessee accent at all.
All right, well, maybe we should take it back a little bit. We can start, a little closer to the beginning of the movie.
Dude, yeah, let's start at the beginning. Not I guess at the beginning or when when Lenore's dad becomes like the preacher or whatever and throws spiders on his face. I'm like, this movie's gonna be fucking dark, dude.
Yeah.
That shit was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
That dude's face did not know he was in Harry Potter. That dude lost 3,000 pounds.
Dudley Dursley.
Yeah, and that's incredible to me too as well. I did not.
You just knew that guy was murdering someone.
Oh yeah.
One of my minor complaints with the movie, those are some fake-looking spiders.
Oh yeah. I was a little bummed out by
The
that.
CG on the spiders was not good.
Super fake.
It also looks really bad in the trailer, and I was hoping it would look better in the final
Oh, yeah,
product.
it doesn't.
It doesn't. It looks just as
No,
bad.
it looked really fake. But that's like, yeah, that's one of the only. That's like the only time they really could use CGI. But yeah, that looks.
Yeah,
well,
was, like,
that
one
and
of
the
the only
dog.
special effects.
That and the
shots,
dog hanging. But
Well, yeah.
that one was tough.
That one was really
I felt really bad for young Tom Holland in this movie, man. That kid had a tough fucking life.
It doesn't get any easier, but
No.
yeah.
Devil all the time too. Hopefully it's a more pick me up.
Dude, there's so many scenes. Like, I mean, I know we're kind of trying to go to sequential order right now, like talking about the movie, but like, what was your favorite scene?
Dude, fuck! I should have thought about this.
It's hard. I was thinking about.
I
This
mean,
on the
my
way
favorite
over.
scene is when he's talking to Robert Pattinson and then when he kills him. Spoiler.
I think the scene when they're in the church and yeah, when he's sitting down, he goes, "Preacher, you got time for another sinner or something?"
Just like every scene where Tom Holland is about to murder someone seemed like fucking sweet.
Those are great. I also love the scene that is basically Arvin's worst day ever, which starts with
Marvin.
Bill It's Arvin. Starts with Bill Skarsgård beating the shit out of those three guys.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Then they go back and find his mom on the ground.
I thought she killed herself. I was glad it was well, not glad it was cancer, but almost relieved she didn't kill herself, I should say.
so happy she had the cancer.
But then like his spiral from that moment on, and it starts with like, because I don't even consider him beating the shit out of those guys part of his spiral.
No,
because
that was just
he comes back so cool, calm, and collected. He's just like, that's just a matter of business right there. Like,
And it shows later.
yeah, no.
That's-
It really just happens because like his wife dies, and that shit was sad. And then, but before she dies, like he's like, here's a great idea. Why don't I kill my son's best friend, aka his dog, because he becomes super religious.
He clearly has some sort of psychological scars from his time in the war.
Yes.
And his sense of reality and his like the way he looks
And
at
the way
religion.
he was raised about, yeah.
It's very warped, and that's what causes his like maybe mental breakdown might not be the right word for it, but like that's why he does what he does. And I love the way that people portray religion in this movie because like it's like the opposite end of like like these people are crazy. Like they
Yeah.
take like what they think about religion. Like okay, Bill Skarsgård killing his son's dog and
as
doing
a
all this
sacrifice.
And
as
then-
a sacrifice because his religion, his view on religion is completely warped. Same thing with Dudley Dursley
When he kills
fucking
his
kills
wife.
his wife.
Dude, that
because
shit
he's
was
trying
tough.
to
in
resurrect
an
her.
attempt to resurrect her.
Yeah, that was
Like-
a tough beat for religion there.
It's like that's one of my favorite parts about this movie. My favorite like
when
themes.
he kills his wife.
No. The themes is just like that. These people's like religious views are
Yeah.
so fucking warped, and that these people are these people are insane. You put them in the year 2020. These people are fucking in a straitjacket in a padded room.
They were
right?
probably insane back then. It's just because they're
But
in the backwoods towns of the.
And they
of
have
America.
religion is what is almost like their pathway to like expressing their fucking crazy
Every
ass
single
ideas.
conversation is about religion in this
Yes,
movie.
but that's what I'm saying is like these people are nuts and like their views on religion are crazy and they're
Yes.
just like masking these fucking sociopaths. You know
They
what I
all
mean?
think God will help them no matter what.
In the same way Robert Pattinson's like fucking having sex with little girls and stuff. Like he's using religion
He's-
as like his
yeah.
scapegoat to do whatever crazy shit he's gonna do.
That's a good point. I know this is gonna switch things. Who do you think the worst person in this movie is?
That's tough.
Do you think it's the guy
Is
who
it
makes
a tie
his?
between everyone except Tom Holland?
Maybe it's the guy who makes his wife have sex with people and then he kills them.
How did she get on?
What's
board
his
with
name
that?
in the movie? Carl? See Carl? Yeah, Carl's really fucking evil, dude. And then obviously so was Harry Potter, and then
Sebastian
also
Stan is the most crooked sheriff to ever exist.
yeah, he's pretty rough
Covers
in it
up
too.
a serial murderer.
Just because his wife was or wife's
Sister.
sister. Sorry. Yeah, but then Robert Pattinson, obviously, he's not a good look either. Just raping girls and then leading them to not suicide, I guess, because she did not commit suicide, but
You wonder if that's happened to other
multiple
girls,
women
and
back in Tennessee
It
for
feels
sure.
like it probably did.
He obviously uses religion as a way to like manipulate these girls.
Yeah.
But when I think that was maybe the saddest part of the movie for me, when she is starting
Realize
to,
she's not gonna
she
kill
doesn't
herself.
want to kill herself, and in that second I go, fuck, she's gonna die. And
Yeah.
it just it was tough. No, and then when the narrator pops in and saying, sorry, Jerry, you can finish it off.
I was just gonna say that's where the narration is so great because you only
You
get
don't
that,
even think of it like that until he
you
says
might
it.
be able to pick
Yeah.
that up like without the narrator because you do see like she kind of is like okay and then accidentally knocks the bucket over, ends up hanging herself.
That's what I don't know. Like the narrator, my biggest thing is like
I like that part.
I don't know if we needed it. I almost feel like if you cut the narrator out, it
I
wouldn't have been
almost-
as. I feel like you could have found a way to do it without the
No,
narrator.
yeah, I agree,
And I'm
but-
not saying I hate the narrator. I think the narrator does a good job, and like I said, it does what these movies that are based off of books want a narrator to do. But you take the narrator out and do it a little differently. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know.
But I like how he emphasizes the point, which you would have picked up either way, even if you knew she didn't want to kill herself, is the fact that no one knew she didn't want to kill herself at the last moment of her life. She was.
That's a fair point.
She was like, my grandma won't care. Like no one's gonna care. It's only him who's gonna care. He's the one making me feel this way, and you would probably feel that way. Maybe it probably would have taken me like the second time watching this. There was no narrator to really feel that, but I was watching that and I was like, fuck, dude, I feel so fucking sad right now.
Yeah.
Just yet another funeral for Tom Holland's character to witness. That how many funerals
so
does that
many.
guy go to?
He's unbelievable in this movie.
Tom Holland really stood out to me as not being Spider-Man.
He seemed like the best actor in this movie.
Him or Rob Pattinson?
I'm not great at this shit, like, but when he is like about to be killed, like each time he thinks he might be killed, like by either that couple or by the sheriff, the way he's shaking,
The fear in
I
his
was like,
eyes.
dude, this he might get murdered if he doesn't kill, like, in real life.
To reel it back into when we were talking about our favorite scene, my favorite scene, which you just mentioned right there, is when he was with the couple in the car and he realizes that guy is going to do something to him.
Yeah, he
saw
knew,
the gun.
yeah.
That's my favorite scene.
And then obviously we don't know she has blanks, and it's just fucking.
I love that. That almost felt like a Tarantino like little cut in.
But it
where
made
they,
Yeah, it
so
did, yeah, yeah.
much
That's the
sense
point, yeah.
because they lay the seeds for that earlier in the movie where they're on the rocks, you know, like why? Yeah,
That part almost made me feel sad too because she wanted to kill her husband at that point too, so it sucks she had to die. But obviously, it leads to the sheriff.
and it almost feels like if Tom Holland didn't shoot her off of, like they would have been able to just been like
They would have been
Get
like,
out.
yes,
they would have got out. They would have got out alive, and she
and
would
then
have been happy.
and then the sheriff doesn't have to die. But
yeah, and that's something that we were just realizing now, thinking about the movie right now. And
Yeah.
I just felt like
it's like, fuck, dude.
it's like fuck yeah, you're right. The
Because
sheriff
then
didn't
the
have
sheriff
to die.
doesn't care because he only wanted Carl dead. He didn't care. But
The sheriff doesn't have to die, neither does she,
yeah,
and she could have been happier.
I think
Sorry,
easily
Bob.
Yeah, sad.
the best part of this movie, just broadly speaking, is you're pretty deep into the movie before you realize how all these different characters are all connected and the way that their stories intertwine.
it felt like
which is-
Tarantino in that aspect too.
which they introduced at the very beginning and in the trailer. It's like, how can all these people from these two small towns have
Even
lived
the-
such intertwined lives
Here's my
or
nitpick
whatever?
though: is the difference between the two towns. I feel like with my first time watching it, I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah, I
The
think that would-
sheriff, I forgot what
Like
town he was
Knock'em
the
Stiff
sheriff of.
and
I don't know if he was
Meade
Knock'em
or-
Stiff or Cold Creek.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was Meade too. Meade is
Where
in
he
Ohio.
was from, right?
Well, Meade was like
Meade
the
is
bigger,
like right next to Knock'em Stiff.
but Meade is like the big town in Ohio that like
Oh,
a lot of
gotcha.
the stuff would go through. But like, yeah, the whole thing they portray in the beginning is that it's a relationship between me or Knock'em Stiff, Ohio, and Cold Creek, Virginia. And when we were in each town, I didn't know which one we were in.
That's
Like, if
kind
you
of
ask,
a good
what
point.
town is Tom Holland in? Town's he from?
Yeah, legit. I thought it was Meade. I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
I think he's originally
They're
from
in
Knock'emstiff
originally, and then he goes into Virginia.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
But where's the church that Rob Pattinson's in?
Virginia.
What is the what's the sheriff? What is he sheriff of?
I believe Virginia is.
He's Knock'emstiff.
No, it's got to be Knock'emstiff
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
he
see,
picks
yeah,
up
I don't
Irvin from Knock'emstiff.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is like I
But
feel
they
like
call him from Virginia as well when Robert Pattinson is found dead.
that's the problem. Is what I'm saying is like they make it seem like the relationship between these two towns and the people and how they intertwine is like such a big thing.
Yeah.
But like I lose track of what town we're in and
Yeah, I
in
think
any
watching
given
it
scene.
through a second time would like be able to kind of figure that out.
I don't know. That's my nitpick of it though. If I'm being honest, is that and like I said, like we rewatch it a second time, it might be easier to pick up. But the first time watching it, especially at the end, I was just like, wait, why the fuck is the sheriff here? Like, isn't he like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't really piece together.
It did feel like he just kind of apparated in front of Tom Holland when Tom Holland had gone back to his childhood home in Knock'emstiff. All of a sudden, the sheriff is there. I did think that was a little rushed at the end.
That was really my only nitpick of it. And then I don't know. I just feel like it got to a point too where I was kind of waiting for the conflict. Like it was probably like an hour.
Dude,
in.
yeah, I was gonna say
They're mostly introducing characters, but I mean, what do you
and
think
introducing the plot, like how they have to show the serial killer couple. Like when I'm first watching that, I'm like, why the fuck does this matter? Like it's weird they kill
It comes
Lenore's
back.
dad,
Yeah.
and then obviously it comes back in the end with when they pick up
Tom Holland.
Arvin. But like,
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah,
But it's like an hour. The main
that's
conflict would be Robert Pattinson having sex with Tom Holland's
Lenore,
sister,
yeah.
and then him getting his revenge, and then everything unfolds.
and then
after
because he
that.
kills him, and then he has to hitchhike, so he has to kill them, and then he has to
But
kill
you
them.
don't
So-
really get to that. It's a lot of like explaining the characters for like the entire first hour.
and then it's like
and then
45
everything
minutes.
happens.
It's like holy fucking shit. The last 45 minutes of this movie
It's
is like-
unbelievable.
yeah, it's really fucking.
And I'm
good.
not saying I don't like that's what I'm saying. Like it didn't take me out of it that whole first hour of the movie, but there was a small second where I was just like, what the fuck? Like what is the? And I wasn't not enjoying it. I was on the edge of my seat. It was so tense. It was so like. It was intense, you know, like the movie was fucking hard to watch. Every scene was hard to watch, but it got to the point where I was just like, what is what's happening?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
what is the conflict?
Yeah,
you know?
for me who
About
watched
an
like
hour in is when it really happened.
like this is kind of the downfall of watching it on Netflix. Like I watched it the first hour and like 15 minutes one night, and me and my girlfriend watched it together.
That's not a Netflix problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah, that's probably true. But
Netflix will run for more than an hour and 15 minutes.
we were like, this is like good. It's kind of freaky, but like what's kind of the point? And then you watch it. Then I turn it on the next day. I'm like, oh god, this is a great movie.
Yeah. The whole second half of the movie is unbelievable. And not saying that the first half isn't, but if I were to rewatch the first half of the movie right now, would I be as on the edge of my seat based off of like how tense the movie is?
I hope not, since you know how it all plays out.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'd want to rewatch the second half of this movie before rewatching the whole thing.
Exactly.
I will say my broadest, biggest complaint, I think, is that everything looks a little too clean. I don't know if
Like it
they
doesn't
just
look like
needed
a
to do
backwoods
like a
town?
color pass, or
I
if
have a point on that.
the
actually.
costumes were too clean, or the sets seemed like they were movie sets instead of like real backwood town. Something was just 10% off.
They look
and
too pretty.
Here's
and
when it comes to
was noticeable throughout the entire movie.
another
for me.
article I actually read on this movie. So you know how you mentioned the costumes. Apparently that was a big problem that they were having when they were filming it, because the fashion of the late 50s, early 60s has made a complete comeback in modern day fashion.
Bob looked like Arvin walking
For example,
in
I
here.
wore a jean jacket here today. Yeah, we got it hanging over there.
I thought Tom Holland was doing the podcast with us.
But that was the thing. I was reading this article. They were having a lot of trouble because they were saying that like it looked too modern because of the clothes they were wearing is actually clothes that are back in style right now. Think of Arvin's jean jacket, his hat. Think of Bill Skarsgård's button-ups, or even Arvin's cuffed pants. Or think about Robert Pattinson's. He was wearing those pastel suits with the flowery kind of ish button-up. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff's in right now. So like the costume designers were like doing it based.
Yeah, but
They were just like, this looks too modern.
that's
because
basically they were handcuffed. They like you can't like fake it. Then you have to do what they actually.
But that
want.
might be part of the reason why like maybe some of the aesthetics seem a little off, is because that type of aesthetic, and like even like I'm assuming this is all assumption. I was reading an article about the clothing, but I feel like even the decorations and like stuff that were in people's houses maybe is also making a comeback. So it almost seems like it's like a set because like you see stuff like that. Stylistically, that late 50s, early 60s is coming back right now. So when you rewatch it, it almost feels
Too modern.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be. I also felt like it just needed like a color pass or something. I don't know.
I disagree. I
think there was like a cinematic like look to it as well that could have gone a little older. Maybe it was shot on digital, and if it was shot on film, it would have looked better. I don't know. There's, like I said, it was just something, just a little off, but I couldn't.
Well, I watched it in 4K, so it's pretty good.
On your PS5.
Yeah.
All right. Any other?
Yeah,
final?
I had one last thing. I want to ask, do you think Arvin / do you think you would have been able to get away with these murders back in the early 60s?
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't it seem like he could
easily.
just fucking disappear?
Pretty fucking easily.
Like he can't. I don't think he'd be able to join the army like they talk about like for Vietnam.
No, but he can go get a job paving somewhere. You know, like he's fine.
He's never getting caught, right?
I
don't think
think
so.
so. And they don't make it. There's no indications or any feeling that he would. So I would say no. It seems like he gets away scot-free.
I will ask you guys for a final thought on your thoughts on the finale of the movie, only because I read somewhere else that it was people were complaining about the ending, apparently.
Like just like describing his future. Or do you mean him killing the sheriff?
I assume they're talking about the very end when he gets picked up in the car and he's kind of falling asleep, and the narrator is just kind of, summarizing the story.
I mean, I
for
thought
us.
it was like, I don't think I would hitchhike for another couple days. Like, I need a break.
Well, they mentioned something about. I mean, this is the feeling I got from it. I don't know if you guys did, but they mentioned something about how he said he wasn't sure if he wanted to fall asleep next to a stranger. That sent one more shiver down my spine because I was just like, can you imagine if this guy's fucked up too?
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like everyone in this town wants to murder.
I didn't feel good the way. Like, I'm not saying I didn't feel good about the way the movie ended. I liked the ending, but I didn't feel like, oh, you know what, problem solved, happy ending. Like I was almost just like, oh fuck, can you imagine? Like cameras turned off, but the story wasn't over. That's the way I felt.
Yeah, I feel like there's if the cameras kept rolling, I feel like this guy's a creep. He's gonna try to do something. Tom Holland's gonna have to figure out another way to get out of it. I just feel like Arvin's living to like 30. I don't think he's gonna have a tough fucking life, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I can only assume that guy who picked him up ended up being Tom Holland's 5th kill that week or day or whatever.
That weekend.
On his little spree there. But I don't know. I liked the ending. I liked having the narrator kind of sum everything up. It was the icing on the cake of what felt like somebody telling you a story.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a book at the very end.
All right, I think that's all of our thoughts on The Devil All the Time. If you have any of your own, please share them with us at Big Movie Boys on Twitter. Next week, I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll be back again on Monday. So until then, thank you for listening, and remember, there's a lot of no good sons of bitches out there.
Delusions!